Welcome back, everybody, to the Wild Faith Podcast. My name is Evan Bungham. I have my co-host, Luke Timmons, with me today and his wife, Jenna. We're bringing you a special two-part episode, diving back into the heart of family connections forged through hunting adventures. So, with further ado, Jenna, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. It is a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
I'm happy to be here. Happy Luke, jump on.
How are you, Luke?
Doing good. Doing good.
Yeah,
good. We're good.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So I hear you guys are getting some snow.
Yeah, not quite as much as you're forecasted to get, but it keeps changing. It keeps going down, so hopefully it's kind of a catch-22 because we need the precipitation. We just would rather it be rain and thunderstorms besides the
snow
impending 8 inches we're supposed to get here. So,
well, this is what I wish for Christmas.
Yeah,
but it's 2 months late. So
yeah.
Hopefully Santa can get a little bit better. And I also, so who's babysitting for you guys right now?
My brother Noah.
Kid free.
Yeah, we're kid free for the
boy.
next hour here. So it's nice.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, let's kind of just dive into it. I mean, so like we said, this is the second part to our series here. And just kind of, Jenna, we want to get more of a background on you. So maybe just kind of give me just a little bit about like how you and Luke met and, you know, where you guys are at today, how many kids you have, etc.
Okay, yeah. So we met back in, I think it was 2016. We both worked at Wells Fargo. We got married in 2019. We got 2 little boys, 3.5. Liam and John is 1.5. And just living the dream now.
Yeah. Our hands are full and we're busy.
Yeah.
Well, I give you guys credit for having 2, and the amount that you guys travel and do stuff is admirable.
Yeah, we got our next trip planned and booked. We're heading to, we're going to fly into Seattle, but we're not going to spend hardly any time there. And then we're going to drive up. Take the ferry over to the San Juan Islands and do some whale watching, and then
San Juan Islands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Liam,
where's that at exactly? How far west is that?
Well, it's Washington, so it's all the way to the West Coast. Yeah, so it's the northwest part of Washington. And so we're gonna take a ferry out there, stay out on San Juan Island for a few days, and then take the ferry back and then drive down to Olympic National Park for the remainder of the trip.
Fun.
Yeah.
What's it like? What's going to be like there in the fall?
Like 60s, high 60s.
Yeah.
And
that's not bad.
Rain.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking like snow.
No.
It's not that bad.
No. We're going late August, early September. So it should be
fun.
Perfect. Yeah. And it's right kind of at the peak of whale watching. So
Liam is obsessed with whales.
Yeah.
So
Free Willy, and he's got like 3 little orca toys, and it's just every time we see orcas, he's like, "When are we going?" And we're like,
"It's happening.
It's coming, bud."
And I do daycare, and every morning he's always telling the parents, "I'm going to Seattle, and I'm gonna see orcas."
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah, they're both. I mean, John. It's kind of funny. John could care less if watching TV, which is good, I guess. But Liam is like anything to do with animals, he's just obsessed with. So whether it's some sort of nature documentary or he loves the cartoon show Octonauts. So I can't,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nora's obsessed. Now that we've turned a leaf finally from Bluey and from Gabby, we've got into nature shows now, and it is comical to watch because it is theatrical when lions are chasing gazelles and it's just glued to the screen wondering what's going to happen. So that's always fun.
The circle of life, honey.
That's right.
Exactly.
So kind of going off of that then, so maybe Jenna, just give us a little bit of a background kind of in the household you grew up with, and siblings you had, where you grew up, and just a little bit on tying it into kind of our first question of, did you come from a hunting background at all? Or like, what was
it like? So I grew up with, there's 4 of us. So I have 3 brothers and I'm in the middle.
Family.
And I never I never got to go. My dad would take one of my brothers, but that was really it. He deer hunted, but I never saw him when he'd shoot it. I never saw him like cut the deer up. I didn't see any of that. So I just wasn't really a part of it at all until
me.
Luke.
until Luke.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of fun getting those two perspectives, you know, and so kind of going with that then, you know, obviously Luke and I have gone on a lot of adventures together, and we hopefully will have more to come and more to come with our kids as they get older here. So just tell me a little bit like how you think of, you know, just those activities with hunting and just kind of passing down those values, you know, that you've seen now with Luke getting involved in the outdoors and kind of getting the kids involved in the outdoors, kind of just like the values that you've got a chance to experience from hunting, and just what you've seen, that what that's done with with your family, and then with obviously the family that you guys have created now.
Yeah, so Liam is now becoming obsessed with being outside, and usually when he's outside, he doesn't want to come back inside. So him being able to go outside with Luke and have that little bond, because he's usually a big mommy's boy. So this is kind of his little outlet to start wanting to hang out with dad more. And he loves like going to the store and anything that he can, like when they go to Shields, he loves to go upstairs and like look at all the animals there. And, you know, and whenever Luke comes home, like Luke just went and put up some trail cameras. For turkey hunting. And when Luke got home, Liam goes, "Dad, did you shoot a turkey today?" And, you know, we had to explain to him, no, it's like, we're just putting up the cameras. So I think for me, that's fun because I was never around any of that growing up. So I don't have any memories like that. So I think for Liam and John, it's going to be something special for them to, you know, start out at 1 and 2 and 3 and, you know, keep doing for the rest of their life. And it's a good, well, for us, it's a good boy bonding for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, no, that's awesome. You know, it's fun just kind of getting those footprints in their mind at a young age and just kind of instilling, you know, not just the values, but like the morals of getting, you know, those guys involved. And just, you know, they're such at a fun age. Anything, you know, below, I think 12 is just significantly important, just getting them involved in the outdoors. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you have, I guess, since you said it a little bit now, growing up with your dad and your brothers, so you said they hunted a little bit. Is there any like personal stories that you can think of that was like unique to you kind of growing up that was maybe somewhat impactful? Because obviously, like you said, you weren't too involved in it until you really got to meet Luke. But is there anything memorable you can think of like in your childhood?
You know, my mom and I took the boys hunting trip, or, you know, they went, I think it was a 2 weeks before. It could be fishing too. Oh, fishing.
There you go.
There we go. I was just thinking hunting. My dad and I would always go trout fishing. And it was just him and I.
Love it.
So I was the only one that would fish. My brothers did not care for it. And we would always go to like a little creek. I don't remember. I think it was like Bell Creek or I don't know, a little tiny town by Goodhue where I grew up. But there was, you know, the little creeks that would run through, and it would just be him and I. So that was like our daddy-daughter dates. But I was named the Snag Queen. And I still am.
Is, yeah.
I am not the best fisherman. But I did love it. I loved being able to fish and just relax and listen to the birds and, you know, just, I guess, the quietness of the chaos at home with living with brothers.
I love it. No, that's awesome. Yeah, I fond memories of trout fishing with my dad growing up. So that's always good to hear. And that kind of just takes us into our first Bible verse here. It's Deuteronomy 6-7. It says, "As the words that I command you today shall be on your heart, you shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise." And I think that's a really good one, just touching on, how important it is for us and our kids just getting involved in the outdoors, not mattering, what it is, if it's fishing or hunting, and just sharing those memories.
Yeah, no, it's fun to, like Jenna said, with now with the boys getting a little bit older, especially with Liam wanting to tag along on adventures. It's like taking him out to the club and going, we got him a little PVC bow with a suction cup.
Fun.
So
Nice.
and they have a
Mountain goat.
a mountain goat and a little bear back on the back side of it. And he loves to go out. He's like, I want to shoot the goat because for whatever reason. But so he loves doing that. And then, just like starting little traditions, like we always do pheasant opener. We always do
The picture.
the first picture.
Yep.
And so that's fun. And then just like, like last year when I shot that turkey with you, bringing it back to them and taking a picture with them. And Liam loves to like help with, like gutting it, like with pheasants.
Yep.
He loves to help breast. I mean, he doesn't help, but he just watches and breasts it out. And
Yeah.
it's funny because it's like I always give Rogan, our dog, the pheasant heart. I don't know why, but it's like a little treat for him. And that's the first thing Liam always says is like, oh, is Rogan get the pheasant heart? And I'm like, yeah, he gets it. Yeah.
What did Liam think of your deer that you brought home?
He loved it. Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, it's like,
It's good.
yeah, anything.
I was just gonna say Luke just made a venison steak
Oh,
the other
yeah.
day.
Yep.
He smoked it. This was I think last Thursday, and Liam comes upstairs because the kids were napping, and he goes, "Dad, can I eat some deer? Dad, I want more deer."
Yeah. Yeah. Anything to do with like meat or like steak. He's like, I want it.
Mhm.
That is funny.
So-
Yeah, like our household, we go through, like a lot of venison. I mean, if we don't shoot 3 deer in a season, like we're hurting. I mean, like right now, our freezer's hurting
Yeah.
and I shot 3 deer, got a quarter beef and a quarter pig, and we're already through almost all of it, which is wild.
Mhm.
But I was gonna say I've had a little bit of different story with raising a girl in our house, and her first experience seeing a dead deer was priceless. And maybe she was too young, but my daughter's the same way. She's very adamant that she wants to be a part of everything, no matter what I'm doing. And I can't remember, Luke, if you were there with me that day or if it was Eric. And took Nora out. She shot a doe, and she was just dead set. She's like, I want to see this deer. I want to go there. And it was a pretty priceless moment of it kind of tugged at my heartstrings a little bit because she was pretty devastated that the deer was gone. But about 2 minutes goes by and she was all about it. She's super excited. She's like, Dad, are we going to eat the deer? I'm like,
Aw.
yep, we're going to eat it. And she's like, oh, that's awesome. And she loves jerky. She loves
Yep.
venison, the same thing. So I think, that ties into a whole nother thing too, of just kind of getting, I shouldn't say conditioning them, but getting, kids used to eating that stuff and understanding kind of the circle of life,
Right.
of why we do what we do. And I think Autumn said it in the last podcast, it's not about us putting food on the table because we can provide for ourselves, but
Right.
it's at the same time that we enjoy it. It's all part of the experience.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. No, it's fun to just see him. And it's like, I took him out a couple times on your guys' family farm last fall with bow hunting and just sitting in a blind, and like he surprisingly does pretty well. Like he just,
Yeah.
3-4 hours, I think we were out a couple times, and just sits there and loves it. So I can't complain with that.
So you mentioned earlier that you guys, you're going on a trip and this episode's kind of broad in general, just to the topic of really just involving family in the outdoors. So, you talked about going on your trip to Seattle. Tell me maybe a couple more stories of some other trips that you guys have been on together with the boys, where you got the experience just being in the outdoors together.
Yeah, I mean the big one, I guess, was last year. We rented a camper van, and it was probably, I mean, we didn't bite off more than we can chew, but we kind of maybe did because we drove.
John was 9 months old.
Yeah, John was 9 months old, so. But no,
Traveling cross country.
yeah, I think I put over 3,000 miles in like 10 days. So it was a lot of driving, but I mean, it was just beautiful. And, we talked a little bit about it with Autumn's dad, and, just being able to sit there and watch the boys just being out in God's country and just being able to, like Liam just watching the buffalo herd just walking by. And
Well, even John with the buffalo, he got super excited because I think just because they were so big, so he could actually see them.
Yep.
And he would be like, oh, he was just, and he'd just point at them in like shock.
Yep.
Because they were pretty close to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when we went and watched the Wolves Den.
Oh, yeah.
Liam obviously could tell what was going on. He was almost 3.
Yep.
And he could look through. Luke had this
phone scope.
Phone scope.
Yep.
And so Liam could actually, see the wolves up by their den. And he thought that was so cool to actually be able to like see them and like see the little cubs because there was cubs up there or pups, whatever, pups.
But I mean, like even because there was another spot too where we pulled off because there was another couple and their little daughter, and they were watching these 2 wolves that were way, way, way out. I mean, you could barely see them even with the spotting scope. And it was just kind of fun because like I was sitting there talking with the dad and just kind of, BSing back and forth. And like Liam and this little girl just never met before, but they were just sitting out in front of us, just playing, running around. And all of a sudden it's Yellowstone. So anyone that's been there knows what I'm talking about. But like all of a sudden there's like 60 people like all around you. And you're like, it kind of sucks because, it's like you just want to be alone for a minute. But it was cool to just see, it's just cool to see your kids just out in nature and enjoying it and running around and not having a care in the world about anything else.
And meeting new friends for Liam to meet somebody new and have fun playing with a new little friend.
Yep, exactly. For sure.
No, those are all awesome stories. And, so just for both of you, can you just tell me a time you could just reflect back in your childhood? I mean, I know Jenna, you talked about going fishing with your dad. Luke, I know you've had a lot of awesome stories with your dad and your brothers growing up, but is there one significant story you guys can think of each that, stood out to you to where like, you had a chance to spend quality time with one another? It didn't matter if it was your dad or your brothers or what that was, just that something made a memorable experience to you growing up that, you want to be able to share with your kids now today.
Yeah, I think like for me, it's just, I can remember going out for the first time with my dad deer hunting and sitting in a stand and
first time,
well, it's so, like for like you and I, Evan, you're like, once you get to like a certain age, all you want to do is go with dad and be able to go hunt and be with him and all that. So it's like when you finally get to do it, it's almost like surreal. So it's like, Liam's,
how old were you?
Well, I don't know, 8, 10, somewhere in there, like not being able to shoot, but like, so it's kind of fun, like taking them now when they can just kind of be a part of it. But like, that first time when it's like, whatever the age is, like 12, and you can actually like carry a gun and you have to, sit with your dad, but it's still cool. Cause then you're actually a part of the hunt and you feel like you're a part of the hunt, I guess. So it's just those, that first time, when we, buy Liam his first shotgun to be able to go out and be a part of the hunt or his first bow, whatever it is, Yeah. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
How old were you when you started going, Jenna, with your dad?
Oh boy. I was little. I mean, I was maybe 10, maybe even younger. And then I probably went till I was, I don't know, 12, 13. Because then, it was too cool to hang out with my dad at that point.
Right.
But that, what I was going to say is camping. I'm going to go back to the camping from episode 2. But
love it.
We used to go camping every weekend in Welch. And, just having the bonding with, so I have a brother that's a year older than me. We were like 2 peas in a pod. And it was just, you create these memories when it's just, you and your sibling hanging out all the time. And we would just go down the river because we camped right on the, I think it was Lake or there was Zumbro River. And we'd tube down there and just us two, like we'd skip the rocks, across the river and all like the roasting marshmallows and just, being one with nature and creating the memories with your siblings. And I'm really hoping that when John and Liam are older, that they're, the best of friends. Like, I mean, I had Ryan when growing up and we were, best friends. People thought we were twins because we did everything together. We looked just alike. We were the same size, whatever. But I mean, I love those memories, and I'm hoping that our little guys have the same memories and,
For sure.
you know, are the best of friends growing up too.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful, and love to hear it. And not kind of flipping the script, but so can you guys think of a time though, and this could be present or this can be past, but you know, a time when maybe it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows and you faced a little bit of difficulty and then maybe it tested your faith in a way that, you know, is there any stories you can think of from there?
Yes.
I'll preface this with I'm a klutz, and I usually will find a way to hurt myself.
And with Luke, like if something's going to happen, something's going to happen with Luke.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. So it was 2 months before our wedding. Okay. Luke and his brothers is it renting land?
Yeah, we had a lease.
A leasing land?
Yep.
Down, what town?
Kind of by like Lanesboro area.
Yep.
Okay. No cell service, right? So it's him, his dad, and
even better.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was all your brothers, but anyways, him and his dad for sure. And they're down there putting up the screw in peg steps, you know, to climb up the tree. And they're on their way back, and I don't know if it was Luke or your dad that called, but it was like Luke fell out of a tree. Okay, great. That sounds fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And then Luke sends me a picture of his arm. He didn't just fall out of a tree. He fell out of the tree, got his arm hooked it on
a step.
Yeah.
on the step. And in this picture, he has this like V of this gash where like you can see like it's gonna be a little gory, but like sensor.
My muscle, yeah.
You could, the muscle, the fat, like it was disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
And this is 2 months before we're supposed to get married. And we're, you know, just praying that, okay, one, everything's going to be okay with his arm, which, yes, it was. He got stitches. He healed up just fine.
How many stitches did you get?
I think it was like 15.
I was gonna say like somewhere in that 15 to 20 range. Yeah.
Yeah. But I just remember like that drive, and it was me and his mom like racing to the hospital, waiting for them to come, and like heart just racing, praying like, please God, like, please everything be okay. Like, what kind of shape is he going to be in? Because I have no idea, because I couldn't talk to him. And then getting there, and it's like, okay, like he's in shock. But it was
a doozy.
Yeah. And then it was also like, okay, we're supposed to be going to Hawaii for our honeymoon.
Oh boy.
So I'm like, you have to get all these stitches. How are we going to go into the ocean?
Yeah. Yeah. Because we had planned on doing a ton of snorkeling, and it ended up working out just fine. I healed up great.
It's just like peroxide. I mean, it's only burns a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. But no, I ended up healing out just fine, and I got the stitches out like 2 weeks before the wedding.
Yeah.
And so it was good to go.
He was healed. We got to enjoy everything like it never happened.
Yep. Pretty much.
Put it to the back of a burner.
Just a gnarly scar.
And he is no longer allowed to use those little.
Yeah. I mean, like anyone who hunts knows those are like the old school way of doing it. And it was definitely a learning lesson. Like I don't hang stands anymore without a lineman's rope and all that. So it's just being young and dumb and thinking you're invincible.
And it also rained that day.
Yeah.
So lesson learned.
Yep.
Don't do it when it is wet outside.
Yep. Yeah.
Lots of lessons learned that day.
PSA public service announcement for everyone out there.
Yeah.
I agree full-heartedly that, I used to hang. I couldn't tell you how many hang-ons I've done with hang-on pegs, but man, they're not forgiving. But same thing with anything's dangerous.
Yeah.
But you hit it on the head of having a lineman's belt and even a safety line. Like those go tenfold. And honestly, like talk about a scary situation. I mean, Jenna, what was your mindset? I mean, I've been in that situation before where it's like, hey, you know what? I don't have any service, or I have limited service. I'm going to be back at this time. Like, have you ever felt that way? Like anything bad could ever happen? Or, I mean, what was kind of going through your mind like at that time?
Well, I always think like, oh, nothing's going to happen. Like he's with his dad, he's with his brothers, whatever. I never really thought like not having service, not knowing really anything. I put a lot of faith and trust into him that he's going to be careful. And now, after that whole scenario happened, we're very like, I'm walking in.
Yeah.
I'm walking out, like
Checking
lots
in.
of communication. We definitely learned from that.
Yeah.
But mentally, I guess I just try to keep a clear head and think like everything's going to be just fine. Like I try to just be like, so go with the flow. And like, I try not to stress out because we don't need, if he's stressed out in that situation, we don't need me being stressed out too. So I was just like, everything's going to be okay. We're going to get through it. And we did.
Well, you guys had one another. And, that takes me to one of our second Bible verses here. And it's Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. And it says, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. And man, that's perfect. That ties right into it. And, and talk about a really scary situation that worked out just fine. You had your brothers to help you out in that time. And, you also had you had Jenna, and you guys, you got through it, and you're still here today. So thank God for that.
Yeah. A lot of praying. Yeah. It was what it is, but there's so many cool other, that's obviously a doozy of one, but it's just kind of fun to like, just like some, just some shared experiences, like just with the two of us, like before we had kids, when we got the dog, we got Rogan, our dog, and, we'd go down to the Three Arrows game farm and go down and train there in the summers, and Jenna would
every
come
Wednesday and Saturday.
Yep, every Wednesday night, Saturday morning. So it was fun because Jenna got to be kind of a part of it and watch.
And I got to help.
And got the help, and then so like taking her out hunting, pheasant hunting, because she had never been. And like the first time, was it the first time you went out with me?
Yeah,
it was the first time we went, and it was a late season hunt because there was snow, and it was Evan. That our kind of that little honey hole I have, and we're walking lots of roosters, and he was busted. They were busting early, like they usually do, it seems like. But we get to the end, kind of in that little thicket that you end at, and he just about caught a hen. Like it was inches from his. I mean, the tail feathers probably went through his mouth. And I looked at Jen. I'm like, he's gonna catch one of these freaking things, and she's like, no way.
Like, that's not possible.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yep. And then we came around the last little corner there. And I'm like beeping him, calling him because I couldn't see him. And he comes out of this bramble thicket, just gnarly thick the stuff, with just a live rooster right in his mouth, like, hey, look at what I did, Dad.
And I was like, oh my gosh, he got it. Luke, he got it with his mouth.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, it was fun. So it's like those experiences that just it's fun to share with just, the two of us. And then now with, when Liam was,
I don't even know if he was 1. He had to have been 1.
Somewhere around that 1 year old age. We have a couple of those
packs
that you can throw your kid, in the back and carry him around. But Jenna was carrying Liam in that and walking like, I don't know, 30, 40 yards behind us. And so it's just kind of fun to start doing those things as a family together. And then, it's just going to get more and more now that they're getting older.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So this kind of goes into it. So you guys have said a lot of really cool stories tonight.
Yeah.
From both your past and just kind of what you guys have already done with the boys. And so just tell me, from hunting to fishing to camping, doesn't necessarily matter what it is. Like, how did those opportunities out in the field just kind of deepen the communication connection between just, your guys' nucleus kind of as a family, and just how that kind of reflects? And obviously, like today, it's such a fast-paced age in the digital age, but like, how do all those, values and unique memories you guys build, like, just how does that all just kind of connect you guys as a family, do you feel?
I think it helps a lot, like that we're very like-minded when it comes to hunting and fishing, and being like, it's a part of who we are. And it's, it's not necessarily something like our boys are going to have to do, but it's something that I want that, that we want them to do because there's so much importance. And it's like, with whether it's sports or, hunting, fishing, you just learn so much by doing these things that you just wouldn't learn by sitting at home on the couch watching TV. So it's like you get to experience hardship. You get to experience.
Well, it's also like responsibility.
Yeah,
like
that's a good one.
Learning where is your food coming from?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
They like John's too little, but I mean but Liam gets it. Like where if we catch some fish and he's like, okay, now we get to go home and eat them, or we get to go pheasant hunting. And we get to come home and help breast out the birds and eat grill them up, and like Jenna said last week, smoking a bunch of venison steaks up, and then Liam like coming upstairs right away as soon as I came in, like I want to eat it. It's like it's fun, it's just so cool. And I think like a big part, like on like you said, like the communication piece, it's like I've gotten, I think you and Autumn talked about this too, but I've gotten a lot better, I think, about checking in. You mentioned that, but like realizing like I just can't fly off the handle and be like, all right, I'm just going,
because it's not just you anymore. And it's not just me. And now it's like, oh, now we got these kids. So it's like we've started doing where it's like it's either every Sunday or Monday. We're always like, okay, what do we have going on this week? Okay, Jenna, you're doing this day. Oh, Luke, you're doing this day. Okay, so now I have these other days where, not that we can do whatever we want, but that are open to where it's like, okay, we can fit in, like, do you need to go to the club? Or do I want to go shopping? Or, do my girl things.
Well, then like, go ahead.
Or no, you can go ahead and finish and I'll go.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say like, now that, last year we started doing it, but each in the summer, for like June, July, August, we try and do one weekend of like camping or something where we just go, like last year we went down to Lanesboro for my birthday and we camped with my family and we went fishing and just sat out and, roasted marshmallows and tented it out. And they just love it because they get to run around like crazy kids, and that's good for them.
And was it last year or the year before you and Liam went to the club and they have a little camp?
Yep. Yeah.
And they went and spent one night. Well, I guess, and Rogan. Rogan got to join.
Rogan's always along for the adventure. Yeah.
And then Mom and John stayed home.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So kind of going with that then. So Jenna, did you ever envision that you were going to marry a hunter? Like when you were in, because I remember when you guys started first dating, like, and that's what was kind of fun about like, your guys' relationship, and Autumn and I's, we all started dating at the same time. But like, did you ever envision like, this is what I am fully signed up to get myself involved in everything, No.
No, I wasn't thinking about that. I wasn't ready for that. And like when we were dating, it would be like, oh, a little here, a little there. And then he kept getting more and more serious. And then it's like, okay, this is fine, whatever. And now I've kind of come to realize like, okay, so you're basically going to be busy, not just these couple of months, but now you're going to be busy all year long.
Yeah.
Because it's not just, oh, I have to start, getting everything ready, before hunting, but now it's a whole planning process. And now I'm like, all right, now what did I sign myself up for? But it's fine. I don't mind it because if he's going to go and do his hunting trips, that means I get my own time to do whatever I want.
Yep.
And when the boys get older, that means that they're all three going to be gone. Yep. So it's Mom's weekend to do, again, whatever she wants.
Yep.
And I will say thank you. Thank you for letting Luke come out and go on adventures with me.
Yeah.
And that's fun and that's awesome. And I'm glad you feel that way with everything. And kind of going off what Luke said with like the communication piece. And this is where it was fun to do my wife's episode, and it's fun to hear from you because we don't think about stuff. When we're gonna go out hunting, it's like, yep, all right, I'm going hunting, see you later, and you're completely checking out. And it's that great time to like disconnect and just kind of recenter yourself, in our eyes, how we feel. But like, how is that, like, what have you guys done in your relationship? You touched on it a little bit, but like, what have you guys done in your relationship to just make sure, because obviously there's those times where we push the boundaries of, all right, I have to go on this trip, or I need to go out today. It's October 31st. I have to be in the woods. Like, how have you guys fostered that communication relationship? Not only just for spending time with the kids, making time for each other, for you guys, but just making sure that the ship's sailing smoothly. You know what I'm saying?
I think it is just us always keeping that open communication. You know, he is pretty good about telling me.
I'm like 75% good.
You're pretty good on telling me.
It's that 25% where she probably wants to kick me to the curb or something. But.
And story time for that 25% of the time when when you guys, I think it was 2 years ago, you guys went to South Dakota. It was only supposed to be like a 5-day thing.
Yeah.
Turned into 7 or 9 days.
Yeah.
While I'm home with a baby, like 3 months old, 6 months old. I don't know. He was little.
Yeah.
People trying to break into the house.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, so there's these little times where it's like, you guys last minute turned the 5 into a couple days. That communication could have been a little better.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that was the only time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Take soup.
Even worse.
But that was, I think, the only time I've really been like, you turkey burger. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he is really good at, you could give yourself a little more credit.
Yeah.
You're really good at communicating with me.
Yeah, I think just more like this is the hot tip for any young man or, young woman out there too. But I mean, just the sooner you tell them or, not necessarily
Talk
ask
about
permission, but, like this fall, we're planning another South Dakota trip. And it's like, well, I mean, even last fall we went pheasant hunting with my dad and brothers in South Dakota. And it's just like, as soon as you get an inkling to do it, just talk. And I think that bodes well for pretty much everything, whether it's not just hunting. It's like, if you just need, like
that time away.
Yeah. Like,
because
go ahead.
If he okay, so when you guys went last year to South Dakota, then it was like, okay, Jenna, I'm taking this time away from, the family. So now when do you want to take your time?
Yeah.
Then I went and did like a weekend away with my mom and my sisters.
Yep.
So it's like, we really balanced it out. Like usually if Luke's going to go and have his time to, breathe, recoup, get, our sanity back, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Then he's always like, okay, Jen, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Or even during the week, he's usually like, Jen, do you need to go shopping?
Yeah.
Like, if you can tell I'm stressed out,
right.
He's really good at being like, why don't you go take some time to yourself or go watch a movie by yourself or, one of my shows.
Home improvement shows.
Yeah. Eat your ice cream. Everything's going to be okay.
Get some coffee.
Yeah.
Well, and I think like for us now, like with the boys, like, we're going to church every Sunday and, every Sunday it'd be, we'd always go to church and then go get groceries. And now it's like, we go to church and now it's like, we'll come home and then Jenna will just go run back into town and go get groceries. It's maybe like sounds inconvenient, but I think it's important, for her, it's to just be able to like go breathe and just take, 3-4 hours and just relax and not have to stress out, about dealing with 2 crazy little boys
that are hangry, overtired.
Yeah.
Cause then I can take my time and go get my coffee.
Right.
You know, and that's the way I guess I recoup and like refresh for my next week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I've got another one for you, Jenna. So as the boys continue to get older and you guys keep, because once again, I commend you guys for going on the family trips that you do. And me and Autumn and Nora need to get out more because we're complete homebodies outside of visiting family and going down to the farm and stuff. But do you see yourself as the boys keep getting older? Like, are you going to get out and are you going to come to deer camp as they get older? Are you going to keep, I know you've taken the boys pheasant hunting and stuff like that. Do you envision yourself kind of going on those adventures with Luke and the boys?
I don't know. I mean, yes, I do enjoy it. And like when you guys I know you guys talked about it with Autumn, when you guys got those deer, the 3 of them at the farm, like I went out and I helped ground up all the meat and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I also kind of like to be a little selfish. And it's like, if you guys are going to be gone, then I can go and take my own time away and do what I want to do. I don't know. Maybe. I mean,
think
I
for
do
sure.
like
I mean,
fishing.
like the fishing, like going, like I'm gonna take Liam trout fishing for sure. A few times this summer and stuff. But I think like we touched on a little bit, like the camping is really where we get to just be us, be our family,
and that's what I really enjoy.
Yeah, and just have that time to just kind of sit around the campfire. And I think like Ron talked about it in that episode about there's just so much good that comes when you're just sitting around a campfire and talking with your family, or just sharing stories, or just talking about God, and just it's just fun to be able to do those things together. But then I think, like you said, it's important for each side of the relationship to have that time away to
do what they need.
Just regenerate and recoup and just
what fills my cup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And and like I said, all the adventures that you guys kind of go on, and just fostering, the boys' young minds, and just kind of getting them involved, and just teaching them the trust that needs to happen with one another, and just kind of how you go about, and if it's camping, fishing, hunting, doesn't matter what it is. So that's awesome. You guys get a chance to experience that as a family. And that kind of takes us into our last Bible verse here, and it's Genesis 2:18, and says, "The Lord God said, it is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." And how perfect for both you two that you guys just embrace being with one another and giving each other space and time, but yet going on adventures with with the whole family. So like I said, I commend you guys. That's awesome. You get a chance to get out and experience that, and I'm excited to hear more stories to come.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be quite a lot.
There'll be a few, at least.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Many more adventures to come, and can't wait.
And I'm excited for this part because I think now, Jenna, I think Luke told me that you're going to lead us in prayer. So Luke can go if you want.
No, I can do it. I'll take my hat off here quick and. All right. Just take a second to catch ourselves and take a breath. Heavenly Father, we're truly grateful each and every day we wake up to another beautiful sunrise that you've created for us here on this beautiful world. We're even more grateful for the beautiful souls that you've blessed us with, whether it's our wives or our children or our family members. We're just so grateful, and it's important for us to just be able to take time away and reconnect with you. And again, just I can't say it enough. Thank you for our beautiful wives and our beautiful children. And we just continue to ask you to keep them safe, healthy, and strong, and that each day they grow a little bit closer to you and your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. That was fun, guys. Jenna, thank you so much for being on the podcast. It was a pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you for having me.
It wasn't too bad, right?
Wasn't too bad.
I was so stressed out about this.
I gotta give her credit. She's got her notes here.
Oh God,
she's been like.
Is there anything that we missed?
I think we talked about what I wrote down.
Yeah, I think we
you guys, I have been very nervous about this.
I give you credit. You had some awesome stories, and I really appreciate the perspective that you get to help bring. And I think doing the podcast like this one, and then like the one we did with Autumn, I really hope to have you guys on the podcast again, because I think you guys give such a fresh perspective to what the reality is. Because I think Luke and I, and probably all the other men out there in the world, we live in our own little bubble, in our own little world, and we don't realize half the story of what's really going on when you're sitting at home dealing with screaming kids.
So true.
We appreciate all that you do. Autumn, I appreciate you so much. And Luke, I know you appreciate Jenna too. So
absolutely. Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Well, sweet guys. Well, thank you so much. Guys, next week is Holy Week. We'll have a podcast dropping 8 a.m. on Monday. Enjoy it. It is a blessed time, and we are excited to celebrate. And it's going to be good. So thank you guys again so much for taking the time out of your day, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for the next one. Thank you for joining us on this journey through faith in the great outdoors. We hope today's episode has inspired you to seek God's presence in the wilderness and deepen your connection with nature. If you enjoyed today's discussion, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Wild Faith Podcast on your favorite platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode, and you'll continue to be a part of the Wild Faith Podcast community. We'd also love to hear from our listeners, so please don't hesitate to reach out with your questions, comments, or topic suggestions. You can connect with us on social media or through our website. Your feedback is important to us and helps us improve and tailor our content to better serve you. And always remember, the great outdoors isn't just a playground for hunting and fishing. It's a sanctuary for finding solace and spiritual renewal. As you gear up for that next adventure, I pray you find God's presence in the crackling of a campfire, the thrill of reeling in your catch, or the quiet solitude found in nature. Until next time, thank you for listening to the Wild Faith Podcast. Take care, and God bless.